What is up and welcome to Built. If you didn't see yesterday's video, go check that one out. That's how we got here. So the bumper is off the car. We made this bumper from scratch using paper, clay, tape, more tape, some aluminum foil, and some more tape. And this is what we've got. Now I know it's not pretty to look at, and I'm planning on changing that in this video. I've got a pretty lofty goal to get this thing completely smoothed out and ready for paint. So that's a big, big project. If you've ever done body work, you're looking at this thinking that that is probably not gonna happen. But I have faith and I'm confident that if we make some good decisions now, we'll be able to do that. Now, some places I'm not gonna worry about is over here and over here. This is where I'm gonna have to do some work to make this fit the fenders correctly. I've already got a plan for it. You guys will see that in a future video. So we're concentrating on basically everything down and probably inside of the headlight buckets, at least to a certain, the light just fell. At least to a certain point. Find a better way to mount these things. Yeah. Ooh, whoa. Little sketch. I got a little bit more glass that I want to put on just to fill in some low spots, to strengthen up some spots, to make sure everything's good and mounted. That's what we're gonna do now. We'll lay that in just like we've been doing, just let it set up, and then we're off to the races with making this thing look good. Let's go. So I just used some green paint to remind me to make sure I hit those spots. I just don't want to miss anything. What I'm doing now, oh, that is not dry yet. What I'm doing now is I'm just putting some filler in on the bottom edge here, cleaning that up where those two pieces are bonded. This doesn't seem like a big deal, and I guess it's not, but finished edges really make the piece look like a production piece rather than just something that some dude made in his dirty old garage. So we're gonna finish our edges. So I made another quick sheet of fiberglass that we're gonna use to kind of box this in, make this bumper a little bit stronger, make it look a little bit better if anyone does decide to like get underneath it and look, because this does not cut it right now. But before we do that, I think I'm going to take this and kind of trim an angle off of it right here. Something like that. I don't know, and do it on the same over here. And I just gotta decide kind of like an arbitrary number of where I'm gonna cut or how far in I'm gonna come to cut, and then just cut it, I think. And I'll sand it and make it look pretty or whatever, but I think that's gonna be the ticket. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I came up with a plan that I started executing this morning. It is now this afternoon. I didn't film any of it. There's a reason. But while I was waiting, this came in. I'll show you what I'm looking at in just a second. This is the body filler that I desperately need for this project. And it has exploded in the box. Looks like about half of it came out. I've heard this happens. The last time I ordered this, they had it taped up really well. This will be going back. That is so frustrating. All right, I'm gonna handle this, and then I will talk to you about my new plan. Just got off the phone with Amazon. They gave me a full refund, which is really great. But what's not really great is this box. So I'm stoked that I got a refund and that I can still use this stuff. You can't send that kind of stuff back. It's got chemicals and stuff in it. So I'm gonna scrape everything out of the box and out of this container and put it in my old container because it's covered with body filler. It's insane. So we'll time lapse through that real quick, and then we will get to what I've been working on today. Yeah, so we've got about half a gallon here, maybe more. This stuff actually goes a really, really long way. The first car I ever used this on was, which car was it? Probably, it was either my brother, I think it was my brother's 4Runner. It was either the 4Runner or the Skyline that we did earlier this year. If you haven't seen that, I did do a Skyline earlier this year and it came out pretty great. And I use this filler and I've used it on every car since, so it went a long way. Used it on the Corolla, all that stuff. All right, whew. Yeehaw. So because of that, you know, it is like $44, I think, for the gallon, assuming the whole gallon makes it to you. If it doesn't, it's free. You just got to do a little cleaning. Come on, man, be smart. But yeah, 44 bucks, and I mean, I'm talking the difference in this and like the pink kind of filler that you can get is night and day in terms of sandability, in terms of how clean it goes on, in terms of the lack of air bubbles, everything. It's so much better. It's so much better. I thought it was all kind of a gimmick, the whole color thing, but the color kind of denotes what's in it, and so you get higher quality things, fillers and whatnot in here, and that kind of denotes the color. I don't know much about the science, but it's similar to paints. They kind of do the same thing. So higher quality stuff means higher quality results. And speaking of higher quality results, let me show you what I've been working on today. So it's almost done. I had planned on finishing it, but hey, we're here, so might as well. All right, I've got some guide coat on this, which is the black that you see. This is all kind of unfinished. I have not really gone over this much since you guys last saw it. But this side should look a little bit, minus this part. Can you guys see that? Should look a little bit better. All right, so hopefully you can tell. You can't quite see. There we go. I'll get some close-ups in just a second, but hopefully you can tell that this one has had a lot more work done than that one. And the a lot more work, I guess, is not as noticeable until you really get up close to it and get to feel the actual surface and how flat and curved and great everything feels. It really does feel great. But it also looks a lot cleaner. A lot of my lines are sharper here. You just don't have as many blemishes and deformities. And I'm very, very happy with it. I honestly am. And I think I'm done with this side, which is pretty cool. Done in terms of fiberglass. I still got to fill it with my fresh new body filler that we just got. But for fiberglassing, we're done, which is awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're gonna take this section and put it on hold. I'm gonna leave the guide coat on it. We'll come back and sand that off later. And we're gonna move to this section, which seems like a more daunting task than it actually is. Underneath is not too bad. I'm gonna have to strengthen this, this edge right here. Probably gonna do that from behind. And the biggest project of this section is going to be smoothing out this transition we built. I didn't do a great job, honestly, but we can fix it. And then smoothing out these transitions down into this lip. It's going to be pretty straightforward, just, you know, a lot more sanding.
didn't get it done, and I'm a little disappointed, but I did a ton of work, and there's good reason that I couldn't get it done. It's raining outside, sorry. Hopefully the mic doesn't pick too much of that up, but reasoning is I'm going for a higher quality now. I have the ability to do it. A lot of my old kits were not the highest quality in terms of surface and flatness and all of that, and it's just because I'm still learning. I'm trying to get better. And I'm definitely seeing some progress with this kit. This is by far the best thing I've ever built, especially from scratch. I've had my mask on this whole time, so my face feels really weird. Anyway, this is the best thing I've ever built. And for it to be from scratch, it's a big deal to me. And so I am taking a lot of time to really refine all the edges to make sure I don't make some mistakes I've made in the past, which is a lot of waviness. Leaving weak spots in the fiberglass is really, really bad. So you'll see I cut some pieces out down here, and I did that up in the bumper and in several places. It was places where the fiberglass got really, really thin, and so it was real flexible. So I cut that out, put some filler in there to strengthen it up. And the reason for that is you will go through this whole process, bodywork the whole thing, and get paint on it. And then that weak spot will bubble out and show up, and you have to fix it. So I'm catching all that stuff early this time, so we won't have issues. But other than that, I mean, the biggest thing is just the shape. It took a very long time to get this shape right, but it is right. And I'm so proud of this work. I really am. I'm just super, super proud with this outcome. And the cool thing is I know the next one I build will be even better. And that's just kind of the way it is. So I am super excited. But yeah, so this is finished. This side is all fiberglass. It feels really awesome. And then the front is almost finished. I've probably got to go over it one more time just to make sure everything's good. And then it'll be done. This middle section down here, I just did a bad job, honestly. I've salvaged it and it's gonna work and it looks fine now. But it cost me a lot of time because I didn't do it correctly the first time. So learned my lesson there. And then we'll move over to the other side, which the driver's side is actually probably in the best shape of all of it. So I think it'll go pretty quickly. But I will make this commitment to you guys. There will not be another bumper video without it being finished. So if you see another bumper video come on my channel, it'll be us finishing it. Now, I don't know if that'll be the next video or the one after that, because I do want to move to the fenders, maybe take a break from this a little bit and come back to it, just to give my mind a break, honestly, because I'm tired of thinking about this thing. But I don't know. We'll see how motivated I am in the next couple of days to work on this. But either way, the next step in this process is fenders, and I have a really good plan for those that I think is going to make them go really quickly, like one video, if my plan works. So I do have a plan for that. So those will be next. So we'll finish those fenders out, and then after that, we'll deal with kind of how this all works together and mounts to the car. These screws that I just kind of ran into here are not the way we're going to mount this bumper. I've got a better method, I think. So we're going to get into that after the fenders are done. I am spending a lot of time on this because I want to pull a mold off of this bumper. At least I think I do, because this bumper's too heavy in my opinion. Now, it is going to be super strong. You could probably run through a wall with this thing, but it is super heavy. So I have been doing a lot of research on pulling molds, and it's actually going to change the way we build the back. I'm going to build the back a different method than this one and see if it's a little bit faster. But assuming that I get this looking as good as I want it to look, we'll pull a mold, and then I'll have like a fiberglass piece that's much thinner, much lighter, and pretty strong still. So I think that'll be really good. All right, so some encouragement for you guys that want to build stuff like this. Your first thing that you build is not going to be perfect, and that's okay. The MR2 kit was far from perfect. I mean, really far from perfect. And people will pick it apart and tell you did terrible, whatever, but a lot more people are going to tell you that it's great and that they really love what you're doing, honestly. And as you build more, it's going to get better. The Audi kit was a little bit better than the MR2. The Corolla, well, I didn't really do a kit for the Corolla. I will say, though, the bodywork for the Corolla is way better than the Audi, and this piece is way better than anything I've built previous, and the next piece will be better than that. And that's just the process. But you have to actually build stuff to get better at it. You cannot expect the first thing you build to be great. And I think that's what stops a lot of people. So listen, it doesn't have to be great, just build something. This is the only bumper like this in the entire world. Anywhere. And it came out of my brain, and that is really, really awesome. So I'm okay if it's not perfect. I'm okay if it's not the best looking thing in the world, but it does look really good. I'm really proud of it. but it's mine and I made it. And so if you've thought about doing this, I get questions all the time, people asking me how I learned how to do this. I just started building something, and if it doesn't look great, it doesn't matter because you built it and the next one will be better. That's just the process. So I'm really passionate about this because a lot of my building career was spent constantly thinking about how people were going to perceive what I was making. Were they going to like it? Were they going to tell me it was awful? And I finally gave that up with the MR2. It led to me building, well, this channel and my favorite build up to that point, which was the MR2. It has led me into building this thing, which is going to be my favorite build up to this point. And the reality is that if you build what you want to build, you're going to love it. And it doesn't matter if anybody else does. And the cool part about it is when you build the thing that you thought of, you get something that nobody else has. I mean, this is going to be the most unique MGB in the world. Well, one of them. There's a few pretty sick ones out there. That is all my encouragement for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you next weekend. We're doing some really exciting stuff this week, so you're not going to want to miss the videos that are coming out next weekend. I've got a surprise. All right, I'm gonna go quick clean the paint booth. I'll see you guys in the next one.